All right, hello
Hi.
everyone. Good to
Hi,
see you.
everyone.
Great to see everybody in chat. Paul China here with Julia Masalska. Day two, personal brand identity building, and I don't know, animating, some other fun things. Does that sound right, Julia?
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing later on. So yesterday we started off, kind of started building my personal brand, and we defined logos, we defined some shapes, we defined some typefaces, and today we're going to be applying the branding to some social media assets and some other stuff. So I'm really, really excited to jump also into XD later on. We're mainly going to be working in Illustrator, but for the last maybe like 20 minutes, we're going to jump into XD and we're going to create some cool animations and animated posts. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. That sounds great. Sounds like a great plan. Just let everybody know about the daily creative challenge going on as well. We'll review those in 90 minutes. So click that challenge tab if you're joining us over on YouTube. Go over to behance.net/Adobe Live and get involved in the convo like Bolinas is doing, and Wade and Bruno and Mallory. Good to see you all here. And
Yay.
I'll dive right in and just kind of, I'm going to share your screen if you don't mind.
Yeah, of
There we
course.
are.
Yeah, I wanted to do a quick recap of what we did yesterday to kind of show you guys a little intro for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time today. So, yesterday we've been kind of going through the different steps that you need to take or you could take. Well, it's actually just my process, but your process could be different. But those are the basic steps that you can take to create your personal brand. I know it's a very challenging task, and for me, the main challenge was to kind of see myself from another perspective. So I asked my followers on Instagram to give me definitions of how they see me, give me adjectives that describe me as a designer and as a person. Because it is a personal brand in the end, so it doesn't only have to do with my work, right? So this is what I've got, and based on those adjectives, we have also defined other things that define Julia Masalska. So we have talked about that Masalska, my last name, is quite difficult to pronounce. So I have created a solution in form of a logo that makes it easier to read my last name and to memorize it in the correct way, right? And then I was talking about how I am. International, multicultural. I have a multi-national background, so that's also a thing that defines me. And then we also talked about how to call yourself, how to define yourself as a designer. So for me, I define myself as a multidisciplinary designer because I do jump from different. From one discipline to another and design across media. So that's also something that you can think about. Then we talked about my business model because that's really important to keep in mind when you're designing your own brand. So my business model is divided into design, education, and things that I want to sell in the future. Right now, it's all in planning, but I do want to do that in the future. And also, whenever you're designing your own brand, keep in mind what you want to do in the future. Maybe you are planning to revamp your business or your the concept of your of your business model. So keep in mind the future as well, not only the present. So my present is built by design and education. So my design practice is contains strategy, branding, and packaging, and my education part contains Adobe Live. You know me probably. I'm here quite often, doing daily creative challenges and a bunch of streams, designing some cool stuff with you guys. Then I also have a YouTube channel, and I'm also quite present on my Instagram. So those are the things that I do right now. And in the future, I would like to start a shop where I'm selling planners, shirts, caps, printed artwork, and also online courses. So this is my business model. It's really important to think about that before you start designing, because whenever you design a brand for yourself, you want it to work across all the different things that you're doing, right? Now, we also took a look at a couple of great examples of personal branding yesterday, and one of them was Meg Lewis. You can find her on Instagram at Your Body Meg. She's really amazing, and we kind of took her profile as an example, and we've been taking a look at what kind of assets does she have to be able to keep a continuous, holistic presence in her branding on her Instagram channel. So we talked about the brand voice. So the brand voice is how do you want to appeal, how do you want to communicate your ideas or your beliefs with people that you want to communicate with, right? So it could be quotes, it could be catchy phrases, it could be certain ways of saying things. I have realized for myself that one of the things that I say a lot in my Instagram stories is, "I'll see you there." That's kind of a Julia thing, I feel like, and I have not seen anyone else doing that. So I have told to myself, why can it not be a part of my brand, right? So just find things that are specific about you, and also define your voice as as a person or as a designer. Then we've been talking about brand guidelines. So to be able to translate this voice and your messages to your audience, you need to create visuals, right? And visuals usually contain colors, shapes, typefaces, and visual elements that describe things that you do. So so I noted down all of these things. Those are basically the different steps that you should kind of go through before you're able to have your own branding, right? And then we were talking about social assets, that you need to create some Instagram templates for your posts and stories. You don't need to, but you could, and it will make it even more holistic. You would reuse the same typefaces, shapes, and colors, and that would really make it more cohesive, right? And in my case, since I have a YouTube channel as well, I do want to create some templates for my YouTube channel, to keep those things cohesive as well. All right, and then what I want to do today actually is I want to create some social media assets and templates for my Instagram. So I have defined now what kind of assets do I need and what purpose will they fulfill, right? So there will be templates for event announcements. So certain events that include collaboration will have their own template. There will be another template for Adobe Live, because I do a lot of streams and I always want to inform my audience about my streams. So why not make a template and just fill in the information every single time I'm doing a certain stream? And then I want to create a template for an inspirational post for my stories, and also for my for the posts for my timeline. And also one thing that I forgot would be a carousel, because carousels is something that I use a lot. Now, how do you spell them? Carousel, like that, right, Paul?
Yeah.
I need your help. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
carousel?
All
it's
right.
just one S
Okay, carousel.
in there.
Carousels.
Boom. Nailed it.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So that's something that I do a lot. So for me, it will be cool and time saving also, and bring more cohesiveness if I have a template for that, right? And then another thing that I wanted to do today is I wanted to create some stickers. So usually what I do is I have a certain folder on my phone that contains different shapes and color blocks that you can put into your stories. So you can put them as a GIF into your stories right from your phone, basically from your phone folder, right? So for that, I want to create some fun shapes to highlight some certain things, and maybe even color blocks to be able to write something on top. And I also want to create my own pointing finger that kind of points to the important information inside my post. So those are the things that I want to approach today. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to create all of those, but we can start. Mm-hmm. And here's yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna. We had some questions come in. Looks like everybody has that answered around character styles. Somebody asked about what exactly do you include in strategy in design? So I guess design strategy. I mean,
yeah.
I can interpret that a couple different ways. There's the strategy for your design, which you just outlined, but then there's also like what is your strategy overall as a person? Because you did highlight like what people like kind of think of you, but then it's like Julia is blank or Richard is blank. What's like your mission statement? I would assume that would be more of a strategy question.
So right now, this is my current state, right? This is how people see me, correct? And my strategy would be, if I want to change things, like let's say I do not want to appeal as this, I want to appeal as something else. And for that, I will develop a certain strategy, a certain design decisions that will help me. Let's say I want to change my audience. Let's say I want to attract less designers and more clients. So that's a very important point that changes the whole strategy of your business. And there I would think about the different aspects that attract my current audience, and I would try to translate those aspects to attract a different audience. So I would probably go in and try to appeal more serious and more professional, and I would probably use different colors and different ways to communicate. I would not use the same language. Right now I'm pretty casual with you guys whenever you see me on social media, if I want to attract more clients, I would probably keep it more along the work that I'm doing and really targeting them with my messages, right? Because right now it's more like I'm targeting freelance designers or designers who are getting into the field and more on the educational aspect of things. So yeah, that would be the strategy here.
Yeah,
and usually.
Sounds like some people want your files too, or want these boards or whatever. Just do, that's a request, FYI.
Yeah, for sure. I can share it. I'm gonna share it later on as a link on my Instagram, so you can go and follow me at Julia Masalska. Let's see if I find it here. I know it's really difficult to pronounce, but here it is. Julia Masalska on Instagram, and this is where I'm going to post the link later on after the stream, so you can go and just grab the file from a drive or something. Cool. All right, so this is the work for today. I want to create some templates and stickers, and this is what we have done yesterday so far. So as I was saying, the basics of a branding that you definitely need to create when you're creating a visual brand identity is a color palette. So here we have a color palette for myself, right? For Julia Masalska. Also, the hard thing is to not say for myself, but really see yourself as a business, as a brand, right? So when I'm creating things like that, I'm talking about Julia Masalska, not about myself, right? Talking about Julia Masalska and trying to understand what does Julia Masalska stand for, and what kind of colors will work with Julia Masalska and which ones wouldn't. So yesterday we have been talking a little bit about how I have divided the color schemes into the different things that I'm doing, right? So one of the things that I'm doing is I am actually a designer, and I'm practicing as a designer. So I want to attract clients, and creating this hexagon shape here. I have kind of translated it into different lockups of my logo, and I did reuse the same typeface and the same black logo, just with a different shape to differentiate the channels that I'm having. So one channel is educational, and one channel is that I'm actually a freelance designer and I'm doing branding and packaging and strategy, right? So these three logos basically are for Julia as a designer, and these three logos are more fun, and it's a more inviting kind of color. Although green is also pretty inviting, but it does look a little bit more strict, and also it's a little bit more edgy in the shapes. So I wanted to convey the feeling of how I want people to perceive me, right? So in the educational field, I'm more fun, so that's why I've chosen this smiley element here, and the shape is very wavy and it's not very static. That's the reason why I kind of moved it from being perfectly vertically aligned. So if I pull in a guide here, you'll be able to see that it's a little bit out of symmetry, and that gives it dynamic. And as opposed to this shape that's perfectly static, and that is for me a symbol of trust, positioning, and I just want to really awake the trust in my clients with this. I don't want to show myself as the fun and happy and crazy Julia. I want to show myself as the established and serious and professional Julia, right? So this is the reason why I have been playing with the shapes like this. And the lockups, the different lockups of my logo will help me to apply to different things. So yesterday you might have seen something that I have posted on my social media. Let's open XD here real quick. Here, so I have created this post yesterday where I was kind of defining what I'm going to use the logo for, the different lockups. And in fact, there are not only 3 lockups, there are 6 lockups, right? So here we have 2 black and white variations. Then we have this kind of wheel that can be used for animated stories. This is something we're going to be doing later on, by the way, and this is something that I have done yesterday. I can show you that real quick. So basically just an animation of my logo, kind of like a wheel that turns around. And Paul had this great idea to make it even move like as if it's actually a wheel that's moving forward and backward. So it's a pretty good idea. But we're gonna jump into that a little bit later. Yeah, so this is how I basically created variations and different lookups for my logo, and then I have created a library. Libraries can be really, really helpful for us to be able to access the assets that we create, and we can even share those libraries with stakeholders and with collaboration partners. So let's say I'm working on a branding project in the team and I'm working with Paul. Now I can go ahead on this little symbol on the top here. I can share my library. So here I have put all my logos, typefaces, and colors that I have created, and I can share the library with Paul, and he can go ahead and change them. He can access all the graphics. He can just start building with those graphics in his own file. So that's something really, really cool that I recommend you guys checking out if you haven't yet. But yeah, I now have this library that has my colors, that has my typefaces, and that has all the graphics that I need to create my social media posts, or anything really that I want that's supposed to be branded. So guys, let's jump in and let's
I like it.
Yay, thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I actually think somebody brought up a good point. Eric Samuelson talks about you know, kind of going into the third person, or referring yourself to in the third person to develop your brand. So you're kind of like one step removed, and you know, again, Julia is this, and that's what. So you're very much building this as if Julia is another person, like, because even your artboards in XD looked like they were almost ready for presentation to the client. That's what they seem like to me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually something that I was really excited to actually apply the brand right away, and to kind of show you guys off a little bit how that works out. And it's been super fun, kind of really just dragging and dropping them. As you can see, I have my library open in XD as well. And whenever I update something in Illustrator, it gets updated in my libraries across the platforms of Adobe. So if I change my typeface here, it will appear as a different typeface here in the libraries as well. So that's pretty cool. And then you can just access the libraries, drag and drop things in here, and so on. Cool, but we don't want to start off with XD. Let's just start in Illustrator, and let's start by building a couple artboards with our different sizes that we need, right? Because all the social media assets will need different sizes. So we do have our Instagram story here. Let's see. So it's supposed to be, I believe, 1920 by 1080, 1920 by 1080. And you can look up all the different sizes for social media, you know, posts. I could just you can just literally Google them or look them up. Let's see. I will just literally go in here and go and look for social media sizes. And here in the images, I'll probably see a bunch of different suggestions. So here, let's say we have the Facebook assets, we have the cover photo, profile photo, and so on. And then let's take a look at Instagram. I'm going to start with Instagram for now, because I do want to, I'm mostly active on Instagram. And afterwards, I kind of want to focus on that. And here we have all the different sizes. So let's just pull this in here. And I'm going to close the site so that we can get back. And this is what I basically usually do. I take a look at these, and then I just create myself a couple artboards that will do exactly that for me. Okay, so here we have, or I can also use some presets. I'm not sure if Illustrator has some of these presets, but there are some amazing, yeah, go ahead.
I wish they did. I actually wish I could modify that list. You know, I wish, like you said, Instagram story, Instagram post, you know, and all that stuff. I would rather have a whole social media category to this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I agree, because that's something that we really, you know, use a lot these days if you're creating. But also the cool thing is that they also have presets for the different print sizes, which I think is also very important. We have the letter, legal, A4, A3, B5, and so on. And we also have some screen sizes here for the iPhone, iPad, more for the different, you know, different sizes of screens than the different assets on social media. Okay, cool. So let's jump right into it, and I'm just gonna create a couple artboards here. One is going to be a social media post. This is going to be 1080 by 1080. It's very easy to remember. The one of the important numbers that you have to remember is 1080 by 1080, and no, 1920 by 1080. This is the stories size, and then just the square version of that will be 1080 by 1080, which is then the social post size. So that's really easy to kind of remember. So now let's create another one for stories. That will be 1920 by 1080. There we go. Yeah, looks good. I would say what I usually try to do is I maximize the size out. So since Instagram has 1080 by 1080, you can go as high as 1350. So that gives you an extra, you know, half an inch or whatever. But yeah,
that's
a cool idea too. It's just I feel like if whenever I'm doing it really precisely, it just fits right away, and it's gonna be like boop, like right away filled in. But yes, sometimes when you export, there are some like weird edges that Instagram shows, and sometimes it's good to zoom in and still have a good resolution.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like in Photoshop, I actually do 2 times the size.
Oh yeah.
Just because sometimes sometimes I've had that issue where it just like has these pixels on the side or something weird happens. But anyways, I want to welcome everybody. Want to welcome Javier and Carol and say hello, that we appreciate ya. And we hope you're doing well. And Richard. Awesome.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Awesome. So, and then we also have IGTV presets, which can be some kind of presentation that you put on slides in the background of yourself. That's also a really, really cool thing that I like to use. That's also very template worthy, because then you can just like adjust the text, adjust the images, drag and drop things in it. Okay, so then we have the post. We have 1080 by 566, and the vertical one 1080 by 1350, but I actually always use the square format, so I'm not going to dive deeper into that. So now we have the artboard formats for the story and for the post, right? So I'm just going to write it here. Post. Let me use one of my. And by the way, it's really easy to access the typefaces in your library by just clicking them. So that's what I'm going to do that's what I'm doing right now, actually. You can do something like that. Post. And then we have also stories. I like to name those just because for me, then it will be easier to understand what I want to do. And now, so we will have different posts and stories, right? So now I'm looking at my little list here that I've created. So the purposes for my posts will be collaboration, Adobe Live guest host, inspirational posts, or carousels. I might even create a new file for this because it's getting kind of tight over here. Or maybe I'll just put them over there at the top so that we have a bunch of space and we don't have to compromise on space here. Right?
Yeah, sounds like Voodoo Val's trying to dive into making herself a logo.
Yeah, Voodoo Val, this is awesome. Cool. Yeah, and it's so much fun. It's really hard, but once you get some kind of inputs from family or friends, you know, who will help you kind of define yourself, and maybe even like colleagues or people. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I think Voodoo Val, she's already defined herself. Like she already has a brand, if you will. Like her stuff's like recognizable. She just honestly just doesn't have a logo. Like she could probably use like a watermark so people don't steal her stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure. So make a logo like watermark.
Yeah, she does some really amazing work in Photoshop. I really love it. Photoshop and also Fresco, right? She's doing a lot in Fresco.
Yeah, is that true?
Super cool.
Val would love to see.
I remember seeing some of her design offs. No, design off? No, not design off. Was it design off? Where they're sketching and she's basically working on something and another person is working on something. Yeah, I think it's design off.
Yeah, that is fun.
Super cool. Yeah, and right now I'm just, you know, dragging along my logos into my area where I'm working, but you can also just pull them in from your libraries just like that. And they will be already placed. Yeah, it's so cool. I really love using libraries.
Yeah, cool.
Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I just want to, I'm asking, I need to learn how to use my words. I'm working on it. Sometimes you could actually right click and you could place a copy, because sometimes you don't want to place something that's linked, you know, because for some of this you might want to break it up or something. So anyways, I find myself doing that. I was trying to see if there's a shortcut key when drawing things out. To drop things into the file and then expand them? Yeah, if you hold down the Option key and drag a vector file into Illustrator, it won't be linked.
Oh, cool.
Which might be kind of nice.
That is awesome. That's something, that's really amazing. Thanks, Paul, for that. Sure. Yeah, so holding the Option key and just dragging it in, placing, bam, it's already a vector. I mean, it's a vector anyway, but it's not a linked file anymore.
Yeah, and like you did yesterday, you could always like break it apart if you want to. It's
totally.
No big deal.
Awesome. Yeah, so now I want to kind of create some copies of my artboards and identify the purpose, and then I'm going to start designing. And then I'm going to start building up the different text boxes, color, backgrounds, shapes that I want to use. And after that, we're going to take it to XD, and you can literally just copy paste those into XD and create interaction animations basically between those. Cool. All right, so we have collaboration, we have Adobe Live guest host. Let me just copy paste this into here. Okay, so that's what I need to remember. This is going to be my collaboration, and I want it in this color. And it's so easy to create something cohesive and branded, because now I can just click on the colors and it will just turn the color that I clicked on. It's super cool, super easy once you have the library done. Yeah.
Cool. I think, you know what, you could, you should be able to, because like I know you're setting all of this up. You could have an Illustrator template file that's set up with all the post sizes and everything.
That's a cool idea.
Just reuse it.
That's a cool idea. I might even just create a new file. How about that? That might be helpful. And that could be I could save it as a template file, and then I can just literally grab it anytime I need it. Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Social templates. Okay, and I'm going to create, here you can already preset, very useful. You can already preset the artboards, and the artboards will have the orientation 1080 by 1080. Cool. And yeah, 4 artboards for now. And then I'm going to add some of the story ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will also need a carousel. Do I have it here? Carousels, yeah. So this one, Paul, have you ever made carousels? How do you do that? How do you do it? What?
Are you saying, like, what do you mean when you say carousel?
Like an Instagram carousel where you swipe through the different images and you want them to look like they are kind of transitioning into each other?
Yeah. I end up doing, the latest I've done this was with Photoshop, and then I would use the slice tool.
Oh yeah, yeah, I have done that before as well. Yeah, I have also recently started using Illustrator for that, and I would just put the artboards right next to each other. So whenever I put a shape on top, it will kind of be transitioning from one artboard to the other. So you can still design like that. That's possible here as well. Pretty cool.
I like it.
All right, so now I'm just gonna grab this guy, and it's going to be my story. 1920. There we go. Just want to leave some space.
Oh.
And those will be only 3 because carousels don't really use carousels on stories, so don't really need that. All right, so I think we have everything so far. Let me copy paste this again. There we go. How's everybody doing in the chat? Let me actually access the chat real quick. I want to see what you guys are up to. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot. We're more than happy to answer you guys' questions.
Yeah.
And
by all means.
Okay. Cool. Wojtek is saying it's something inspiring. Cool. Awesome. Yay! All right, so let's jump right into it. I know it has been taking quite a while to set up the artboards, but now we have a template here, so that's going to be great. All right. So for collaboration, what I will need is I will need some kind of background, right? So every post will probably have some certain background. Maybe my collaborations will be in a kind of like a dark mode. Let's see. Maybe like a dark mode, and then the same thing I think I want to do for carousels. I want them to be pretty dark, and maybe the first and the last image will be light so that you know when it's over. Right? So
yeah, how many images can you have for Instagram?
I think it's up to 10. I believe up to 10. But then, yeah, so I think it's up to 10 images that you can scroll through. And yeah, but you can have less, of course. You can have less. I usually do like an intro image, an outro image, and 5 in between. So like 5 tips for whatever, or 5 ways to do this and this, or 5 typefaces that I've been loving, stuff like that. Yeah. So it always has a number in it. Awesome. Like Let me know, guys, in the chat if you have ever created a carousel before.
Yeah, it looks like Michelle's done it before. 10 artboards and arrange them side by side, just like you're doing with No Gap. And then you save it as a template for the future. Perfect. Which is what I was just testing out the template thing.
Yeah, and, cool.
So everything works fine there, just so you know.
Yeah, it works. Cool. All right, so I'm going to do this 5, and then here I'm going to increase it by a lot. Maybe even 300. 5. Maybe this can have a different color here. Let's see, maybe this one. 5, and then arrange, bring to front. I'm still not using the shortcuts for arranging the layers.
Now
I should
you're
start doing that really because you know the reason for that was that before I used to work on a German keyboard and I wouldn't have the keys there. It will be a different combination.
And what sort of shortcut are you looking for arranging all the artboards?
Yeah. Yeah, arrange, bring to front or send to back or send bring
Oh yeah,
forward and
yeah,
backward.
yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of arrange, like if your artboards are, if you're ever concerned that they're not butting up one up against the next, there's actually options and properties for the artboard that you can arrange everything with a 0 gap and have it 10 across, like a row of 10, one row of 10. So that's actually in the properties if you just, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, edit artboards.
Okay, cool. Edit
Yeah,
artboards.
click on the
Properties.
No, it's even easier than that. Just like click on the background so nothing's really selected, and then go to your properties panel.
Yeah. Oh, here. Okay.
And then edit artboards, and then go to art, and then make sure nothing is selected. Artboard options. There you are. Artboard options. See that down in the quick actions in properties?
Yeah.
There you go. So.
Okay. So here
Width,
now.
height, X, Y. Hold on. I know this. Rearrange. Oh, I'm sorry. It's rearrange all. That's what it is. I'm sorry. You can cancel that. It's underneath that. So hit cancel, but rearrange all. Because I've done this. I made like 100 artboards, and I've made things crazy. And this just allows you to say, hey, you know what? Give it 0. So do you see where rearrange all was? By the way.
Yeah. I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's all.
Yeah.
But since I did 100, I'm like, oh, what do I have to do here to clean this up? Because it wasn't perfect. And I'm like, how can I make this perfect? And that's what the rearrange all is helpful for.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, oh, this one, right? Rearrange all.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I love sometimes you have like those really, really specific insider information that I had no idea.
But, and then I forget where it is half the time. I'm like, where's that one thing that did this one thing that one time? So.
Yeah. Also, it's useful for all of you guys who are just learning, Illustrator, to keep practicing every single day in the best case, maybe like 2-3 hours at least, just creating something, doesn't matter what, but just keep using the tools because sometimes you really forget how to use them. Even me, sometimes I know how to do something, but I've just forgotten like the different steps that you have to do to create something. So you really need to keep things up, keep things going in your brain, otherwise they'll disappear. And then you'll have to refresh them. Yeah.
Or do like you do. I think what's helpful is if you record a video on it, then you could just go back and watch. That's what I'll do, just like watch old videos that I did on how to do something.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty cool. All right, so here I want to kind of have it a little bit bolder. So let's see what kind of typefaces I have here. Maybe for my DJR micro will be better. Okay. And of course I need to have a good typeface size here so that it's nice and legible, maybe even 100, like that. Cool. 5 tips for freelance designers. Okay.
Sorry, I was playing around with you. Hopefully everybody's working on this. I think this is really fun to do, by the way.
Yeah.
Gonna work on your own personal brand, see what you can share with the world. And,
yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I'm kind of jumping back and forth here because sometimes I'm realizing something and then I just want to add it. So yeah, that's how I usually work. I don't really have a very structured workflow. Sometimes it's a little, around the place and just moving back and forth. But as long as results are there, it's good.
Looks like Louise asks, basically using Illustrator over Photoshop, and says that he could use Photoshop he could do pretty much the same thing way easier.
In Photoshop?
That's what he's saying. Yeah, he's like, hey, you know what? I'm actually better in Photoshop. Why wouldn't I use Photoshop for this stuff?
You could.
Exactly.
It's all about your habits, and sometimes sticking with the habits is easier and quicker than learning something new. But there is always different things, certain things that you can do in certain software that are very specific for that specific software, right? So as a graphic designer, doing branding, creating logos all the time, I use Illustrator as my primary platform. And I feel like Photoshop in my case is more useful for like photo retouching and creating effects on photos and stuff like that. But for for actually designing graphics and vector graphics especially, I'm using Illustrator.
Yeah, and that's good. It's like that's when you know multiple software and what they each can do. I usually say the right software for the job is probably the one that you know.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you're more objective about it, like you said, you're using Illustrator to create logos, and it's like everything starts out in Illustrator, which is awesome, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Branding all starts here and then it goes elsewhere. It's like, okay, the rest is just output. Here you go. Here you go, like After Effects. Go do your output of the cool thing that Illustrator made.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so right now I just grabbed a typeface that I have been using yesterday. I thought the sizing was really good here in the stories, so I just selected the text box and I have saved it to my libraries. I just clicked plus and then I can use it in Illustrator now. Super cool.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Louise, great job. Read about like the difference between vector and raster. Like one thing we haven't, you won't hear Julia talk a lot about. I mean, she's talking about size of the the artboards now, but we haven't worried about the size at all because it's vector's obviously scalable. But when you get into Photoshop, that's when like the size and the resolution starts to become more apparent because it's it's just needed in those cases.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. So here I'm planning right now how I'm going to put in the images. So let's say I want to collaborate with someone. I want to put my image in here and I want to put their image in here. So how would that look like? And I'm kind of going in. I'm kind of going in and I want to create some kind of like an X for collaboration. I'm gonna copy paste this like that, and I might just make the photos just a little bit smaller. The important thing here is if you're creating something like this, you need to make sure that it looks good on the phone as well. So I'm gonna show you guys later on how you can preview these things. In XD, you can actually connect your phone and then preview them. Oh, actually, I don't have the XD app. I have to download it on my phone, but you can connect your phone to the computer and you can preview the post on the phone right away without even, having to export it or send it to your phone. So that can be also really helpful sometimes.
Yeah, that is a good call. Yeah.
Okay. That should be good. Now let's put a little date, more information here. 3 p.m. till 4 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know about you guys, but I always work in Pacific time, although I'm not in the time zone, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it kind of gives me this less confusion about what time am I supposed to be somewhere. Also, most people that I work with are in Pacific time.
Yeah, I'm to this day, I'm always screwing up time zones. What gets hard is when you're traveling and you accept a meeting in one location, and then you travel, you realize it's going to be an hour earlier where you're going to be. That's what like screws me up. But anyways, but let us know if you have questions. If you're joining us over there on YouTube, jump over to behance.net/Adobe Live. We'd love to chat with you. We see you over there. Marco and Gerardo, good to have you. And also the challenge is coming up in 45 minutes, so there's that challenge tab where we'll be doing something special in Illustrator. We're going to create a face painting that you'll see, but you can read all
Yeah, super cool. Really excited about to see what you guys have created there.
All right. And I'm kind of working on something too, just so you know. So I don't mean to ignore you, but I'm like, because I'm kind of going off the same thing, and hopefully this will...
Okay.
Hopefully I can help people too. Can I help people, please?
Yeah. And right now, guys, I don't know if you ever work with rulers, but when you go on view and activate rulers right now, I have them already activated. You can just click and drag a ruler onto your workspace, and rulers can help you kind of create grids like that. So then you can just take the rulers and take them all, hold Option, and then just drag them and copy them to another artboard. That can be really helpful to give you orientation, and also they will of course go down all the way to the other artboards that might be located right after and have the same width. So that can be really, really helpful to work with. I'm going to do that to kind of keep my posts cohesive, and maybe I can use those guides later on as well. Cool.
I'm into it. I'm 1080. Cool.
All right, I'm gonna align it nicely in the center. So I have created a group out of these 3 elements, and now I'm holding Shift and selecting the background color. Then I'm clicking on the background color again and making it a key object. So now all the elements will be aligning to the key object, while the key object will stay in place. Now I'm going into my align panel here, and boop, now it's perfectly centered in the middle. And nice. That is awesome.
Very cool.
Okay, so
yeah, so I went ahead and did something.
Okay, you wanna share?
Can I show you?
Yeah, yes, please.
It's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of based on the same thing that you are doing, like in terms of having multiple artboards.
Yeah.
And doing the carousel, because people seem to be into the carousel thing.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is showing an illustration, and just I like the idea when people do these illustrations. Voodoo Val does them. It's like, what if it's a 3-panel illustration? So you actually can, and I'll delete this one. You could use the slice tool, which is also available in Illustrator, which I have not used in ages, but I usually do this in Photoshop. So it's use the slice tool, and we would just kind of drag out a box, but ultimately we want this to be 1080 by 1080 like that. And now I have this chunk. But then you'd have to do the slice selection tool and just kind of make, I would probably do something where you kind of get a hint of the object there. And then you just do that a couple more times as you slice it up multiple times, all right in the same spot. And then you just output it, you know. Again, I won't worry about making this exact, but it's the same thing in Photoshop. It's like, this is slicing images. This is, you know, this has been available for ages.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But there it is. So there you have the 3 slices that all kind of fit together. That's all.
And then you can export the slices when you have them selected, right? You can export
exactly. And
ones.
here I kind of check on the names, because this is going to be the file name 03, 06. You could, don't worry about these other ones, but yeah, you can export these selected ones, export selected slices if you want to, but that's going to be their file name. Mm-hmm. You know, no big deal, but you know, just make sure all that stuff is lined up. And by the way, one more thing before I get into this, because like you just set that up once, and then make sure you go in and you lock slices, because you just want to set it up once and continue to work on your illustrations, but lock those so you don't accidentally move them around. So that's what I've got for you.
Cool. And while we're at it, maybe we can share how to recolor artwork.
Oh yeah,
We have this amazing,
That's
we
a good
have this
idea.
amazing new feature in Illustrator where you have this amazing opportunity to recolor
Yeah.
illustrations like that super easily.
And this is what, let's just take, maybe I want to colorize it to be like a different fish.
Yeah.
It could be any one of these. Let's just grab
Like a purple. Yeah, that's good.
something different. I don't know. Let's just drop it in here. Hold on, wait for it. Wait for it. Why is it not copy? Okay, so it was real fast, pasted in. There it is. There's our image. Let's move that off to the side. Why is this so difficult for me right now? There it is. Okay, there we go. Select it. We would go down to edit, colors, recolor artwork. And then you're going to use this color theme picker. So just be careful. Like if you click multiple times, sometimes this dialog will go away, but color theme picker, I can select that image and then it changes the, obviously the color of the fish to match that one. And then you would typically either manipulate it in here if you want to tweak it some more, right? Or go into advanced color options and you have that available as well. So, but anyways, that's all. It's fun. Here you can see I made it look like a scary fish. So anyways.
Yeah, super cool new tool that you guys should experiment with. It's really, really nice.
I liked it. I've been working on like some playing cards. And so I actually like got a bunch of really old playing deck cards and then I was able to recolor them to make them actually kind of look older. And it worked out pretty well. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. I love that idea. I love like old stuff and how you can kind of create like textures that kind of resemble the old style.
And it kind of makes it fun, you know, even if you're struggling with colors, go into recolor artwork, you know, and you either sample from an image, but it just gives you a place to play without knowing exactly what color to go with.
Totally.
It's great for color harmony. Like you intuitively picked your two colors yesterday, like
very intuitively.
Very intuitively. And like sometimes dealing with a color wheel will kind of constrain it so you're not making mistakes. Because your colors need to be connected in some way, whether it's tone, you know, tone, color, or its value, its shade, you know, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, totally.
But
let's just put this here.
Do your thing. I'm just kind of checking out questions that might have come through.
Awesome.
And by the way, Illustrator on the iPad, for people out there that might not have heard, check it out because it's really fun.
Yeah, totally. I love Illustrator on the iPad, and I'm so thankful I had the chance to be one of the first people to test it out during the beta. So super cool.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet. I think it's like so much easier to.
Yeah, I love using it.
Easier to draw. It's just so much easier to create. Because I like the exactness of vector. And I like when you draw a line, it's actually a vector line when you bring it into Illustrator, as opposed to Fresco has vector path. You know, you're creating a vector fill shape when you draw a line, and that's not what I want. So I love the accuracy. In fact, the fish that you just saw, I actually created that on the iPad, like 90% of it, and then I think I just added some of the shading and other things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love.
It's so much easier to draw. I feel like it's so much easier to draw with Apple Pencil. I don't have to worry about a, mouse. So. All right,
yeah, you saw right.
Agrees. Yeah.
I'm just gonna give an example here of a photo that I could use for this. But I need to take more pictures. I need to take more photos like cool photos.
Yeah.
So I can post them onto my social media. It's always a struggle to kind of create more and more content. So because sometimes those things can take a long time and you really have to invest some time into this. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It really does. Social media will eat up your time.
Yeah,
And
that's so
just
true.
think about what you want to do. What value are you really getting out of it at the end of the day, you know? And how can you
Yeah.
make it more efficient? Just like you're doing. You have this set up, and once this is set up, it's going to be easier to post, you know, from
Yeah.
day to day if that's your goal. But I admire people that are consistent with posting,
Yeah, I
you know,
agree.
cuz it's hard.
Yeah, it
But
is. So
it's all
now
good though.
now we can kind of take a look how we can use the logo in here, right? So I think I might create something like this and maybe like a rotating badge or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. Or maybe even something like this that surrounds my image like that so that
I
I
like
can
that.
animate it
That's
later
fun.
on.
Yeah, that like around that picture of you. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that could be nice. Yeah, that's
Into
cool.
it.
I think I might make it a little bit smaller.
Good to have you here, Brandon Gross. Awesome.
Ah,
Kyle's in the
Brandon is
house.
here. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, Brandon is a good friend of mine. He's amazing. If you guys are into UX and UI, go check out his Instagram profile. He's sharing a lot of really cool stuff there.
Damaris says you could probably switch up your photo with the neural gallery in Photoshop. That's one way to switch up your photo. You know what I'm saying? Make it
Yeah,
make
yeah, yeah,
yourself
that's cool.
older or younger, or rotate your head slightly, and all that crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. That's an interesting idea. You know what? I'm thinking that I might even create a variation of this badge feel here in a color. So I'm gonna go back into my file and I'm going to grab this. Actually, I can just go in here and do that right there. If I what was it again? Let me just pull
What?
this in again from the library.
Oh, the
So
name.
just holding option, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So now I'm just gonna remove the middle because I don't think I need it right now. So I'm going to make this in purple color so it's not that dominant because I have realized that that in black color will be really, really intense. And since this is a very bold typeface, it will take up all the attention and I don't want that. So
Yeah.
maybe something like this, something fun, like so. Okay, and then let's work with those little, my little smiley thing here. Maybe that can be something that I can add in all different posts, like that. Maybe here in the corner. Yeah, that's cool. I kind of like this. It looks very friendly, but also kind of trustworthy. Hopefully. What do you guys think? Do I look trustworthy?
Yeah. I think so. No, you could have done, and this goes back to like the tool that you know is probably the best one for the job, but you could have done all of this actually in XD if you wanted to.
Yeah, totally. I could
Just
have,
if you
yeah.
wanted to. I must say that I love XD's use of just having those an asset library,
Uh-huh.
and just like you do in actually Illustrator, you have global colors. But
Uh-huh.
anyways, so either one. That's all.
Global colors. You mean in XD, right?
Well, you have them also in Illustrator.
Oh, that's cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
So anytime you make a new swatch, it's on by default, but it used to not be on by default. But
Okay.
if in your swatches panel.
Yeah, and also there are some cool things like responsive resize where you can actually just
Yeah.
drag something along. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely made for the, for the experiences, yeah, I'm gonna take away. I can't put my picture everywhere. I don't know. I just don't feel. I'd rather just give the information. And then I always put in the reminders, right? So I want to leave some space for my reminder in my stories. It's probably around this size.
Yeah. Which is like, give them a good call to action. It's like,
Yes.
don't tell people what to do. Tell them what you want them to do, and like
Exactly.
list the benefit for them. It's not about you. It's not like, come
Yeah.
look at my stuff. It's kind of like, come get inspired. Like, you're
Yeah.
gonna get inspired. Not, I want you to look at my stuff. So,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll show while you're tweaking that. While you're tweaking that, I'll just show. I'm just showing like global colors. So swatches panel. These, when you have a little check, a little triangle cut out, it's basically a global color. What's unfortunate is gradients. You can't have global gradients, which I would like. So that's all. That's all I got for you. I don't know if that helps, Julia. I want to kind of, because designing and talking and all that is really difficult, and trying to explain.
That's
It's
true.
really hard to do. Like, it could be easy, but when you really get down to the details, you just, I know I tend to get quiet.
Yeah, same here.
And I'm almost like apologetic. It's like, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm gonna go into work mode because I just need to I need to think about what I'm doing.
Right. So. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, guys, ask us some questions in the chat so we keep the conversation going.
Oh yeah.
And I can keep on talking.
Yeah, feel free to ask some questions in chat. Missed the first bit. What do the artboards represent?
Okay, so
go ahead.
So here I am creating some social media templates for myself. These will be the different posts at the top. That's why they are square in square format. And these will be the different stories that I want to put up, kind of like the one that some of you saw on my social media yesterday. So something like this. And then we're going to create some animations in XD after this. So right now I'm just preparing the content that I want to put into the stories. And here I'm leaving a little space for the little reminders that I put. So it's basically like a countdown, and then you can set yourself a reminder. And I use that a lot on my Instagram stories to help people remember what events are going on and whenever I'm streaming and so on, right? So now I want to do something that says set a reminder. So I want to use this here. Okay.
Set that reminder.
Set reminder.
And this is
don't forget.
These are for stories. So I like how you're doing this, because you could do this in Instagram. Itself. You can add text and stuff like that. But I find it very hard to.
Yeah. I do want to have it branded, so I do want to reuse the typefaces and the colors and so on. And sometimes it's really hard to find good typefaces in Instagram. So whatever I can do manually, I will do that.
Yeah, exactly. This is so much easier here.
Yeah.
I'm anytime I do an Instagram story, I'm always swapping the depth and accidentally clicking on something and it overlaps something else, and then I got to move everything around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't you hate
that's
that?
True.
You accidentally click on the photo and then it covers everything that you just had.
Exactly.
You got to move the photo out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's just a mess.
That's true.
Maybe there's a different way.
So I have this pointy finger that I'm using everywhere. Everything that I'm creating has this, or whenever I have like a reminder like this, I'm using this pointy finger. I know there is a professional term for that, and maybe we can try to find out. But there is a professional term, and it's sometimes even part of typefaces.
Oh, for the
Let's
pointy
see.
finger?
Uh-huh.
I just like pointy finger. I think that just makes the most sense.
Right? Yeah, I'll have to
That's
figure that out.
that's the pointy finger.
Index finger? No.
It would be the index finger.
I remember watching a series, the abstract series on typeface design, and so this episode had a branding, had a typeface agency, and they were talking about the different different pointy fingers there are in history. So they did a big
Oh.
research, kind of summing up um, what these look like across, different settings. So yeah, it's really interesting. I really love that.
That is pretty interesting. It's like hieroglyphics being the first emojis, basically.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's a
sort of
good
thing.
comparison. That's a good comparison. So my call to action here is set yourself a reminder, right? That's all I want people to do. And then another information that they need to know is, so here in the reminder, they will know what time the event actually is at, and that's a way to avoid time zones, because it just shows it's going to be in 5 hours or in 6 hours, and it's going to be 5 hours or 6 hours for everybody, right? So that has been a really, really helpful tool for me to avoid, the time zone confusion. And that's the reason why most of the times I'm not even writing the time of the event anymore, because it's relevant maybe for people who are in the same time zone, but everybody else will just get confused. So I just leave it out and /life, be.net/life. This is where we are. In case you're tuning in from YouTube, make sure to head over there and join us here and ask questions. Cool.
You got it.
Yeah, I think this is good. I might even use the same typeface size here and make brand identity, because I feel like the most important information should be the largest, right? So brand identity is the topic of the stream, which I think is the most important part, and it's something that attracts everybody, because if you want to know about brand identity, this is where you're gonna start and continue reading, right? So I do want to have something more bold over here. So let's see if aileron is an opportunity for us to make it bolder and larger and easier to read. Maybe that could be something. Let's see. Let me adjust that. Yeah, and now suddenly brand identity is so much easier to read, right? So pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with this.
And this could easily, because these are your Instagram stories.
Yeah.
I could easily see you to kind of, you're spending a lot of time on this. Could easily be a highlight. You add it as a highlight probably to Instagram if you wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
So it doesn't go away after a day.
Yeah, for sure. This could be cool. I'm even thinking, because right now I already changed my thumbnail to my new logo. So maybe just writing Julia Masalska could be cool. Or even just using the emoji. Or there are different ways how you can do that. Maybe I'll just remove my logo, because there will be already my thumbnail that will say exactly this right here. So this is my new thumbnail now.
Good point.
Yeah. So I might just use the emoji here, like that. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And I do want to use a certain image here in the background. So let's see. Let's see what I can do here. Maybe an image of my work, or something that we're going to be designing for. Let's see, maybe there's something here. Well, this was going to be covered by an image basically, and then we will have brand identity, set reminder. I want to see if I have something that I can fill that in with.
And is the background just, you're using, is it an off-white? Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Okay, cool.
At the moment, yeah, it's an off-white color that I'm using. So
and this is for Instagram stories, Kerwin, just so you know.
Yeah, exactly. I can even create something like this, and then it will just cover up my photo that I want to post. So that could also be something. Let's arrange this a little bit better here. So we do need a little space here at the bottom inside Instagram, because there is a certain space on your stories where you can write a message. So you can't really read what it says there. So make sure, I think it's 150 pixels or something like that. Let's see.
Good call. Somebody was just asking about that too, so.
150 pixels. So this is the area, and I can also just put in a guide for me to know. So this is the area that should be left out. So that should not be covered by any important information. So I'm going to use that as orientation line, right? So I want to place this in the middle here. So it's nicely arranged like that. That's pretty cool. Pretty satisfied with that. I'm going to leave a little bit more space for the...
Ooh, can I show you something new? It'll take 2 seconds. Just select. Actually, you could go ahead and do it. Just select the URL of BehanceNet Live at the bottom. So see how it's top aligned in that box. The text is.
Yeah.
So you can change that. So go over to your properties panel. You'll see area type under paragraph. So that's new. It's above a line and below paragraph.
Oh, area type. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you could like put that, if you're really particular,
you
could like put it in the center or whatever else. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Because sometimes it's kind of annoying. Like it doesn't really make any difference here. But again, that's new stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. It will also help you to align the objects, because you have the text box always snapping to different other objects, right? Yeah. So that will help you to create a good, distance between the objects. Cool. Yeah, I love that. All right. So this kind of looks like it's almost set. Let's just fill it up until the end for now. But yeah, we're gonna put some images here later on. For me, it's just, to have something that I put on my story, and then I kind of add the different information that I can use. So let's see if I have something that I can add as an example here. It's probably Julia somewhere.
And just a quick time check, you have about 17 minutes before we review. I mean, you have more time than that, but...
Okay. So having this as an example, I usually get something like this from Adobe, and then I can use that, as an image for my stories or post it on social media. So that's something I could use here as an example. But of course I can also fill up the image. I'm not sure yet about this, but let's see. Okay, let's just leave this for now. This is going to be an Adobe Live guest host, and then we have inspirational post, which I really love. I really love the idea of that. And I'm just going to copy and paste the backgrounds and the typefaces here, and here it's going to say Julia Masalska. This is going to be a quote from Julia Masalska, and think more. I don't know. Think more, or think less, do more. I don't know. It's not actually my quote. I just want to.
Yeah, just kind of drop something in there.
Yeah.
But that's really good. Like I always think it's good to like have a personal mission like statement. Is just like a company does. Like when and it doesn't have to be a fan. It doesn't have to be. You can make yourself your own tagline, but totally. public or private. Have what you do. Just know what your that one line that is your like your mission statement or what you think you are, I think is good.
This is, I think, more
do one
step. Do one step every day.
What if I do 2 steps? Is that
You could
okay?
you could do 2 steps, but you have to do one. Maybe we can write something like step by step every day.
Yeah, there we go.
Every day.
I would say one thing with like taglines and stuff, like be careful if you ever have something associated with a number, because somebody can come by and have a tagline that has a higher number than yours. Is what I think about. Like if you start quantifying, then it gets very tricky. So anyways, because I would be like, do 2 steps every day. No, just joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just joking. But it's just,
yeah.
You know.
You're gonna be making a post of 5 useful tips. Somebody will make a post with 10 useful tips.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so I used to work for Stars Entertainment, which is a movie channel, and we'd have over 500 movies. But there was always that threat of there's going to be another service that comes out that's going to have more movies than us.
Yeah.
And there goes the tagline. Like,
So
how
true.
do you do that?
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways. Ooh, I like that. I want to know if anybody has like personal taglines that they live by or mission statements. Mayne has designer with purpose. Or with purposes.
With purposes.
Paul has make the logo bigger. Haha, funny.
I love that. That's super cool. Make the logo bigger. Yeah, that's something clients always say. Make the logo bigger. Right?
That's when I say you make I'll make my invoice bigger. How about that? How about we make my invoice bigger? Just joking. I'll make the logo bigger if you make my invoice bigger. Deal?
Right? That's so true. That would be hilarious. I'll say that next time.
I like people's taglines. Kerwin's designer, doodler. That's fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Silly with a purpose. Love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Make it count. I love it. Damaris. That has focus to it. Make
Damaris is here. Cool. Damaris is one of people I know from Instagram. Super cool.
Oh, nice.
You know how sometimes you meet people, but you never actually met them, but you feel like you know them already?
Mm-hmm.
It's super nice.
That's cool. All right. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this already. I feel like this could be cool. Also, this is an image that I use a lot. I just need to take some that really have my brand colors in them. So in this case, it will be this purple. Maybe I'll create some cool images in purple. I think that would be nice.
But I do like that. I like that yellow.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I typically say, like don't ever pick a color, just pick a color. Here you picked a color with a purpose. Which is to go with that image, right? And you needed something to pop. Don't just pick a color to fill a page,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. In this case, this will not be visible at all. It will just be the reminder. So this is just for me to know where. Yeah, it's for me to know where the reminder actually goes. So I can just make it somewhat like this. Actually, I really like the yellow, so I'm just gonna keep it like
too. It looks awesome and fresh.
Yay!
And
that's what I want to achieve.
I don't want you to squirt lemon juice in your eyes. It's the only thing I'm concerned about. Seems very dangerous.
Or how lemon is can make you like tan really quickly, or bleach your skin. I think lime can give you tan spots, and lemon can bleach your skin. Yeah, so
man,
it's crazy. That could have gone wrong.
Yeah. It's probably right, because I know that anytime you have this, like, I don't know, this citric acid in face, like, moisturizer or serum. It's supposed to even your tone or lighten it. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably does lighten quite a lot.
Akshay's tagline or mission statement is creativity meets ambition. Wow.
Cool. I love that.
I like reverb mics. When the going gets tough, the tough get hot rock massages. Oh, that sounds so nice right about now.
Yeah, right? Okay, cool. So, join us. Join us live. Join us live. And I do want to use, I feel like this typeface has been really popping and it's been good.
Yeah, I like it. It's flexible. You have all these different weights with it, maybe, or not?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you do, but...
Yeah, you do actually. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Again, I think I'm going to remove this and I'm going to use that. Bam. Like that. And where. So the where, I have realized that at the bottom I'm writing where, right? So this is the where of my post. It's going to be on behance.net/live. This is going to be on Instagram Live, right? So if you have an organization like that, that can be really helpful.
Yeah, I like it.
Like that. Freelancing in the US, maybe that can be something like this. Just keeping it cohesive. Join us live. Cool. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. All right, and let's see if I can do a smiley face somewhere here. Yay.
Sweet. Yeah, I really do like XD's ability to it's resizing, responsive resize. Like I actually want to see that in Illustrator, because your next step, since you spent all this work on this, I want you to turn that into like a Twitter like post as well, which would be like a more of a horizontal ultimately.
Yeah, so let's do this right now. So I'm gonna jump into XD. I think we have a couple minutes, and then maybe after the reviews we still have a couple of minutes.
For sure.
So so here I'm right now inside Adobe XD, guys. It's free. You can download it and start right away. Super fun. It's some of the tools you might know. So right now I'm just using the Artboard tool, and here we have some really cool presets for Instagram story, Instagram post, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube video, and so on. So that can be really helpful. Now let's put in an artboard for Instagram story. And now I'm just going to paste what I've created in Illustrator. So now let's take a look how this is going to be. As you can see, this is responsive resize. So if I scale it up and down, and let me group these two.
Isn't that so nice?
Yeah. All you have to do is just pulling up.
Come on. Slow clap.
Boop.
I love this.
Isn't that cool?
I
love it too.
Everybody, we got to talk to the Illustrator team to be like, hey guys, look what XD can do.
Right?
I just love that.
Yeah. And one fun fact is XD was actually designed in XD. Did you know that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, right?
That is pretty cool.
And another cool thing that I really like here is you can turn on a grid. So let's say we want to have just one column, and then we want to have a safe space, right? 150 at the bottom and 150 at the top. And now I know. And now I know where exactly I'm supposed to place my object, so it doesn't distort, right? So it doesn't you know, so it does get the deserved attention above the message me field that's located right underneath. So, and here at the top they also say you're supposed to have 150 pixels. So yeah, that could be something like that. And what I wanted to show you guys is the auto animate feature, which is super cool. So let me quickly remove this, And let me just put this here in the middle, like that. So that's the logo that I have been designing, right? And now what I can do is, let's say it's placed like that. And now I want it to be kind of like a wheel that rolls from one side to the other. So what I can do is I can just copy this artboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this element and I'm going to turn it around and place it further to the right. This is what we want to animate, right? This is the kind of movement we want to animate. And now all I have to do is go into my first artboard, connect it with the second one, and then connect the second one with the first one, so it kind of loops back and forth. And here we can set the trigger. So what kind of trigger will make this animation happen? We are going to select time here and 0 seconds, so it happens right away. Nobody has to do anything, it just happens by itself, right? And then we select auto animate because we want to create an animation between those artboards. And here I want to do ease in and out. And let's say this will take 3 seconds. And the same settings I'm going to use here, 3 seconds. And it's going to be time, auto animate, ease in and out, right? So now let's take a look how this looks like. Woo! It's fun, right?
That's totally fun.
And now you can take this post and you can record it. So here we have a little record button. This is what I usually do for my channel. So what I do is I find the right spot. So let's say I'm starting to record right now. And an Instagram story can take, I believe, up to 14 seconds or something like that. So I make sure that it's not above 14 seconds, but 10 seconds is more than enough for me. And now I can just save it as a MP4. So it's going to be a video file that you can just simply send to your phone. Usually I use AirDrop for that. And then you can post it on your social media, which is super fun. And we're going to create some more of that.
Somebody's asking, Bruno's wondering how you got those assets in there. He said you don't need to export the artboards from AI to XD.
No, you don't. You can just copy paste things. So let's say I want to create a story. Let me remove the content here. Let's say I have an artboard for a story, right? And I'm going to take this story on brand identity, streaming, like that. I'm just going to click, I have just selected all the elements that are located on the artboard, clicking Command and C to copy and Command and V to paste. And that's it. And now I already have all of the things that I had inside Illustrator. I can just copy paste them in here. And now I can actually do some cool animations. So let's get into that. I believe we have 2 minutes, right, until the review.
Yeah, whatever, like take your time. You got it.
Cool. Yeah, well, what I wanted to show you guys is actually very simple. So let's just create a copy of this again. And again, we're going to create an auto animation. So what I want to do here is I want to kind of zoom into this image. So I'm going to select the image and I'm going to make it larger and I'm going to position it a little bit lower, like that, right? So this is the animation that's going to be happening. It's basically going to zoom into my face. And now what I also want to do is I want to make the smiley face turn around. So let me zoom in here and I'm just going to turn around. Oh, let's see, where is it? Turn around like that. Whoop. And now I also want something to happen to this little finger here, to this pointy finger. I want it to move a little bit to the side and then go back to the original. Okay, so now I'm selecting the first artboard, going to prototype mode, just selecting this little arrow symbol here, dragging it to the other artboard. And this is how we create connections between the artboards, right? Now, here on the right side, we'll have this panel up here where we can see what kind of interaction is happening here, what is happening and what's the trigger for something to happen. Again, I'm selecting the trigger being time and auto animate. And this time, I believe maybe 2 seconds will be enough. So let's see. I also want it to go back and create like an endless loop. So now let's play this. Let's see what this is going to look like. Yay! It's kind of zooming in and out. It's pretty cool. I might even change it to being a longer interaction. So let's say zooming in for 5 seconds, like that. Whoop! Right? Pretty cool. Oh yeah, actually I have to press enter here. Now it should be a little slower. Yeah, now it's a little slower. That's pretty cool, and it's so easy to kind of create little animations like that and make your posts less static and more interactive. So,
yeah, it's very cool.
It's super fun
and easy. It's like it's
you don't need no timelines.
Yeah, I mean, you could use like After Effects if you want to.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like overkill for what you're doing, and especially based on the responsive resize, you could jump in and make different sizes for different social media platforms and animate those as well, just as easily.
Super cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, should we jump into the reviews real quick?
We certainly can. Let's do it. It's all about face painting. And let me just hide everything that you're not supposed to see. All right. Okay. So, yeah. Julia,
excited to see what you guys have been working on.
Yeah, so what we have today, the lesson's all about paint your face. By the way, you just go to behance.net, go to the challenge, right? And that will link you out here. We're on the third lesson, paint your face. You're going to be using the pen tool, simple shapes, and blend modes is probably the most important thing here, right? He does give a starter file, just so you know. It looks like this. And let's just kind of see what people have made. So we'll go to challenge. This is where we'll post everything. Discord. We might see things from the previous day, which is totally fine because we saw these, like the glowing pumpkin, as we can see right here, which is really cool, using effects. So let's just go through this.
This is awesome.
Marie as well, using like zigzag and some other effects maybe on the text, because that was lesson for day 2, and they're all very good. So let's just give them some faces. Ooh, blending modes. Looks this is Michaela McShee, designer. Look at this, beautiful.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that type of illustration where it's not only very defined shapes, but also some blurred out shapes and some gradients. So I really, really love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Curious to see, because there's a number of ways you could do some of this stuff, which I'd be interested in. But she's using blending modes, so well done.
Very nice. Super cool.
Last sip. How do you guys come up with this stuff?
That's how I feel. Oh no, the last sip.
That's funny. Ooh. Great job. Hand claps. There we go.
Paul, how did you get yourself? How did you get yourself as an icon on the Discord? Can you just upload an image?
Yeah, I don't remember how I did it. It was a while ago. You could probably search. It's probably like Slack, where it's through preferences. I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I also want an emoji for my next.
Yeah, perfect. Do it, and then that actually goes really right in line with like what the challenge was for today. Because once you have this set up, turn yourself into an icon.
Yeah. So. Cool.
This was reviewed earlier, I think. Christina, I ain't afraid of. This is my favorite use of type that I've seen.
So cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I love it.
I like it. I like how clean it is. Some of them get a little smudgy and blurry and dark, and this one's just pretty clean.
Yeah, I also love how the shadow actually gives this depth effect and also increases the contrast, so it's very functional. Really love it.
Yeah. I would just say, jumping in here, these are hard lines. I'd almost want to see that taper down into the text. So just change change that width profile. So whatever that is right here, up at the top. Oh, sorry. So sorry. Draw out a silly line. Got one job, Paul. Right up here at the top. So that's where you just like kind of vary the line and make it taper down. Anyway,
Cool.
you guys are all doing a great job. We'll give you some more time back, and then we'll check up on this like within the last like 5 minutes or so. Because we'll probably get more that kind of come in. Oh, I love this though. We haven't seen some of these, but this is like
Hash singing slasher. Oh my god, I love it.
It's scary. Look at that. I love this. This is done really well.
This is awesome. It's from SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob. It's my favorite.
Oh,
the hash. And when he takes off the mask, he's actually that cute looking. I don't know what it is exactly, but really cute looking. And not scary at all, but with a mask on.
That's cute.
With a mask on, it's really spooky.
This is really cool. Look at this one real fast. That's nice too, huh?
Love it.
The highlights
Really
on
nice.
these letters, that's what makes this awesome. I think that just makes it a little more crisp. So good. Yeah,
Nice job. Also love the colors there.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, you guys are doing such a great job.
Yeah, this is fun with these cobwebs, spider webs.
Awesome.
So, okay.
Cool. Yeah, I'm loving that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Yay.
These might have been reviewed yesterday or not, but anyways. We'll switch back to you if you don't mind.
Sure, let's do it. Let's create some cool stuff here.
Let's do it. All right, we are back on you.
Yay! And guys, feel free to ask questions. We have another like 20 minutes, maybe less than 20 minutes. But this is your chance to ask questions about personal branding, about how to set things up for yourself. Yeah, so feel free to ask, and we're always happy to answer as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Thank you for posting that. Looks like Carlos posted a link on how to add emojis to Discord.
Oh,
so that's cool.
Yeah. I will have to look that up a little bit later. Okay, cool. Let's do something cool with this one here, with this post. Brand identity, right? So I'm just gonna copy paste it again. I should have locked the guides, but it's okay. Okay. So I'm going back into XD and let's create another artboard over here. That's going to be an Instagram story. It's pretty cool. It's already kind of defaulted into me creating Instagram stories. So that's pretty cool. And again, here I can just whoop and whoop, just pull it apart.
Oh, this is a good. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ashay asks a good question. In a hierarchy, is it necessary to have the heading to be bold?
Yeah. So usually what you do is you set up a header like this one. So that will be a bold and large typeface. It will be larger because things that are and also the color matters. You can also create hierarchy with color. That is also an opportunity. But here, since I'm using only this black color all over the text, it's important to play with the size and the boldness of the typeface for you to find a right order of information, right? So in this case, brand identity is the most important information. Then right underneath, it says Adobe Life. Also, the order of information matters, right? So you read from top to bottom and from left to right. So it's important to arrange the information in a good flow, so it's easy to understand, easy to read, and kind of put together.
Yeah, and that's good. Like, the key thing is you're like leading somebody's eye, and this goes for any art or illustration. How are you going to make that that you need a primary, a secondary, tertiary read? That doesn't really. Sometimes it doesn't even matter, because you could have something still at the bottom of the page that actually might be your first read, for instance. Just as an FYI, is that a good way to do things? That's another story. But I think the big problem most people make is they don't lead the eye through the design, because like the client, as you know, Julia, they want everything to stand out. So make the logo bigger and make this 30% off bigger. You can't do that. You need to have a primary, establish a hierarchy.
Yeah, if everything stands out, then nothing stands out, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's getting into design. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is they have too many things yelling at them, and you don't know where to look. So anyway, sorry to go on that rant.
Yeah, here in this case, if we were talking about the flow of information, it will be first you see my image, right? And then my arm kind of already guides you down, and my hair guides you down to brand identity, which is already bold. And it's the first thing that you probably read in terms of text, right? And then the order will be brand identity, Adobe Live, be.net/live. And then the smallest typeface I use is set the reminder. By the way, you can set the reminder, and it's also the last thing you read. So it's a good way to do a call to action if you put the call to action at the bottom, because then you read all this information, and then your brain is like, okay, so what do I do with this now? And the call to action is set the reminder. That's all I want you to do, right?
Yeah.
And once you set yourself the reminder, and you get the reminder, hey, Julia is going to be blah blah, the story for the reminder for this and this story was set, and then you'll open the story and you'll be like, okay, so I have to go to be.net/live to see this live stream. So yeah, that's kind of a way to create hierarchy.
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. I'm so glad that was asked too. Like making something a text bold, and like setting up the way you did is like perfect. And making the text bold is probably the easiest way to call attention to be like your first read.
That's true.
Yeah, good job.
True. It is not easy, but okay. Now I kind of lost track about what I'm doing, so I need to get back into my into my stuff here. What were you saying?
I was going to say that like a design element that a lot of new people starting out don't really use is space. Because space is also like a design element. You could draw attention to something just because there's nothing else around it. So space is a thing. Treat it like a thing, just like you're doing here, right? Yeah. The fact that that's the only thing there, instantly going to draw my eye to it. It's in the center. You get the idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of contrast from almost white to almost black. And I think that's the highest contrast you can achieve, right? So playing with contrast is also very important in this case.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say maybe to create a good hierarchy, what you need is a flow. So top to bottom, left to right. And by the way, keep in mind that not everybody reads from right to left, from left to right. But some people read not everybody reads from left to right, but some people read from right to left. So let's say in the Arabic countries, since they are reading the other way, all of their UX also has to be turned around for them to see the most important thing first. So if you look at Arabic YouTube, you will notice that the video is actually on the right side and the comments and everything is going to be on the left side. So it's pretty interesting how that kind of plays a role in different cultures and different perceptions, right?
Yeah, that's very good. And then honestly, like, and you talked about text and that whole thing. Because some degree of like, if you could say it visually, just say it visually without throwing a lot of words out at it.
Yeah.
To some degree, right? I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a message. Yeah.
You're not saying, hey, come check out my brand identity stream. It's going to be really cool and the blah, 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 and all this text. It's like this, done. That's what I want from an Instagram story. Yeah. So I like that you have just the essentials there.
Yeah, and here also, so who is it? Who is it who's going to be live? It's going to be Julia and somebody else. And I would put some tags here, some tags to their profile, and that I would do in the story settings already. When I'm about to post this, I'm going to add little links to our profiles or to the person's profile. Yeah. Now let's quickly take a look how we can create an animation here.
Ooh.
So, sorry,
I just read this. Julia Andriva says the the principles of AIDA: attention, interest, desire, action. I personally have never heard that, but I'm into it.
Yeah, I like that.
Huh? Where does that come from? Where? I'm gonna go do my research. I'm so glad I'm attending this live stream.
Right? I'm learning so many things as well from you guys. It's always, an interchange of experience. That's pretty cool. See that smiley, how it's rolling around? I really like that. I think it's pretty cool. It gives it a small little, element. And what I could also do is I could make this image kind of go larger just a little bit. Okay. And the important thing is to always switch between the design and prototype mode so that you don't get confused. And look, Julia is coming closer, like whoop. It's cool because at the first sight you don't really see that something is moving, but then once you look closer, it is kind of whoop, it's zooming in, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of liking this.
Yeah. And
then I can also add other interactions, like let's say the pointy finger will go like that. That would be also cool.
Yeah, and you could also animate any colors if you want to as well.
Oh yeah, correct. That's a good idea. Let's try that out. So let's say, so I feel like the safest way for this is to copy and paste the artboard and then make the changes. So that has always been kind of my, so let's say we want to make this, I don't know, go into this color. So now what I have to do is basically the same thing, auto animate like that. And now let's see how it's going to, can you do that with color? I'm wondering, because I'm not sure. Oh, actually, I think what you have to do,
it might work as long as it's if you look in your the layers panel, as long as the element has the same name, it exists on the previous one and the next one. But you do that with the background color? I don't know, dude. I just try it. I don't know. If it works,
okay.
Hey, we have our answer. I don't know.
One thing that I know that works for sure is creating a hover effect. So let's say you're building something for a website, you can create a hover effect inside one artboard. That's also pretty cool. Okay, yeah. So I think in this case, what I want to do is I want the image to kind of zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to make this image a little bit smaller so I have some room to zoom into that. Right? Something like that. And now I'm going to copy paste this. And by the way, one of the coolest things is that I really love about XD is that you can just throw in images into any shape. So let's say I'm having this shape here, and let's say I want to, let's zoom back in here. Let's say I want to throw in an image into that shape. You can literally drag and drop things. Let me find something good here. So let's say I have an image and I want to drag and drop it. So all I have to do is boop, just drag and drop it from my assets, and it's already kind of adjusting to the shape, so you don't really need to make any clipping masks and none of that stuff. Which is pretty cool. Makes it really easy to work with. Cool. Wow, I already have so many cool things here. See, this can also be some kind of announcement here. So yeah, it's really awesome. I wanted to get back to Illustrator and maybe create some like little stickers that I can use.
Cool. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, so
5
let's
minutes
create something.
and go.
So I'm gonna go back into this, and I would like to use some of these shapes as stickers so I can use them manually inside Instagram. So let's say it's going to be, one sticker is going to be, let's say something like that, because why not? And then one sticker will be just the shape by itself. That could also be cool. And you can also create GIFs inside inside Photoshop.
Did you know you can just snap the artboards to the artwork bounds?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be cool. See, the thing is, I think there you will have to click on the artwork, right? And then it will create an artboard around it, right?
Yeah. Well, you'd have the artboard that you want to
snap. Yeah, to the.
I'm like, hey, did you know you could do that? So I'm like, wait, can you do that? I forget how it works. But anyways, the issue sometimes if it has a clipping mask associated with it, it will kind of screw that up. I'm just making sure people know that you can do that.
Okay, so I know that. So let's say we have a shape like that, and we want to create an artboard right around the shape, and don't leave no more extra space. So all you have to do is, if you're in the artboard options, artboard tool, you'll be able to just click on it and it will create the perfect artboard for this artwork. That's what I do sometimes when I'm creating a logo. I'm just pulling it to the side and whoop, creating the perfect artboard around it. The good old boop by Howard. It's like Howard's thing, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. Does he do that? Because I find myself doing that a lot. Like,
yeah,
you add sound
he does
effects.
that all the time.
Does he really? That's funny.
Yeah. He does that all the time.
Let's see, Andrew's in chat. Cool, good to see you.
Hey, Andrew! Cool, nice to have you here.
So, and Jamie, just so you know, do you export the animated stories by recording a video? So you're doing the preview and you record that video. So that's how you end up with a video of those assets.
Yeah, I can show that again real quick. So I'm in prototype mode and I have set up the connections here. I'm clicking on the artboard and I'm clicking on play, and now it's playing basically, right? So now here at the top, I have this record button that I can press, and it's recording my the preview basically of my animation. And whenever I'm ready and I'm done, I can click on it again, and it will open this window where I can save it up to my desktop or wherever I want to save the file, and it will save as a MP4 file, and then you can just send it to your phone, or I just use AirDrop. I'm such a Apple person. I think drag and drop is really good for that. So you just drag and I don't mean drag and drop, I mean AirDrop. So I always AirDrop it to my phone, and then I already have the assets that I want to put on my stories. Yeah, so that's how I do it.
Very cool. Yeah, so it's all actually pretty straightforward. I like it.
Yeah. Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so creating those shapes, I'm kind of thinking of, adding them on top of images that I'm going to take. So it could be, I could also just export the logos and add them on top of an image as a PNG. That works too in Instagram. But what I'm thinking more of is, having like a cover to put a text block on it. So what I want to do here is maybe I want to create some like wavy structure around the text block. So here I can go into effect, distort and transform, zigzag, and I'm going to try to recreate this type of shape around my rectangle. So I'm thinking that could be pretty cool. And like that, something like that. Gonna give it a little bit more depth, like so. And now I have this custom, custom shape, and I can even go back in and adjust adjust the zigzag right here.
Yeah, and that's how you change the number of points, just so you know. I think Mallory was asking about that earlier.
Yeah, so I feel like 17 is a really good number here because all of the edges here are pretty symmetric. So that's what I kind of want to achieve.
Oh, looks like Voodoo Val's shutting us down. That's all the time we have, folks.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're good. You just have like another, like we literally only have about 50 seconds.
Okay.
But you did that really fast too, so well played.
Yay!
Awesome.
Cool. Now I can go in and expand the shape. So now I have this vector that I can export, and again I can export it as a PNG, and I can use it on my stories to, you know, to highlight a portion of text, put it as a background on my text. I can also of course use this shape and this shape depending on what I'm doing. So yeah, really excited to start using this in the background. You're gonna see me do that. You're gonna see me do that soon.
I think we're gonna have to. I just made us full screen, but we're gonna have to go ahead and, of course, follow you on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle, real fast, so we can check out the stories?
It's Julia Masalska on Instagram. Make sure to check that out. And if you have any questions or if you want to learn something specific in future streams, let me know. I'm always kind of taking in the feedback. And also I'm going to do the daily creative challenges in Illustrator starting end of November, I believe. So tune in, it's going to be fun. And I'm going to take some inputs from you guys. So it's going to be nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yay. Thanks,
Thank you,
Paul.
Julia. You've been wonderful. I always appreciate seeing you, you know, a coworker, if you will. So it's good hanging out with you.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you. And we'll leave you guys with the schedule. I think we have XD Daily Creative Challenge up next. I'll leave you with the schedule. Thanks so much. Thanks, Julia. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for joining.